Yeah, welcome to this channel. Don't forget to like, to share, and also to subscribe. In the news today, Rivers emergency rule set to be lifted. Key activities announced. The Rivers State government has confirmed that the 6 month emergency rule imposed earlier this year is set to be lifted as the state transitions back to full democratic governance. To mark the occasion, an interdenominational church Thanksgiving service will be held on Sunday at the Ecumenical Center, Ibonima Wharf Road, Port Harcourt. Guests are expected to be seated by 9:30 a.m. ahead of the 10 a.m. service. A statement issued by the Secretary to the State Government SSD, Professor Ibibia Lucky Worika, invited critical stakeholders, including permanent secretaries, local government chairmen, heads of security and paramilitary agencies, traditional rulers, members of the boards and governing councils, and captains of industry. Vice Admiral retired Ibok Ete Ibas, the sole administrator of Rivers State, has been named special guest of honor. The government of Rivers State is pleased to invite the permanent secretaries, local government chairmen, heads of state security and paramilitary agencies, traditional rulers, chairmen, members of boards and governing councils, captains of industries, government officials, and invited guests to the Interdenominational Church Thanksgiving service as part of transition activities to usher in democratic governance in Rivers State. The statement read, Vice Admiral Ibas, who was appointed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu following a prolonged political crisis between Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his predecessor Nyesom Wike, declared on Friday that his mandate has been fulfilled. The announcement came during the presentation of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission report on the recently concluded council polls. President Tinubu had declared a 6 month state of emergency in Rivers on March 18, 2025, suspending Governor Fubara and state legislators and appointing Ibas to restore order, re-establish democratic institutions, and establish and stabilize the state. With the peaceful conduct of local government elections and the swearing in of elected chairmen and councillors across all 23 local government areas, I can confidently say the mandate has been achieved, Iba said. I think this is a clear signal for Fubara and also the Wike camp to have a clear understanding that the emergency rule truly is going to end. The probability of extension is close to zero, meaning that the sole administrator, retired Vice Admiral, is going, and wherever Fubara is, he should come back home and take his mandate, and that is what is much more important now. And for that to be buttressed is the call for an interdenominational Thanksgiving, even that is going to be held as the sole administrator will be there as the special guest of honor, and different set of people have been invited within the government and outside the government, because people, specifically they mention captains of industries. Of course, it's also going to involve some politicians and a lot of people who are within the society of Rivers State. And what is much more important is the significance and the signal that this action is, meeting, showing that very soon those democratically elected leaders that were suspended will be restored. We won't forget that March 18 that these people were removed, and the reason behind their removal. We will not also forget that because of the unnecessary political feud that is between the incumbent governor, then Governor Siminalayi Fubara, and his predecessor, former Governor Nyesom Wike, currently the Federal Capital Territory FCT minister, or and then they had to result into causing unnecessary chaos that wanted to result into economic problem for a larger country, Nigeria, and knowing fully well that the president had taken some harsh decision that is affecting the economy of the country already. He had removed subsidy floated the naira. And as a result of these two giant decisions, Nigerians are grappling with high cost of living, high food inflation, and lower potency for the naira. The purchasing power of Nigerians has gone down, and their salaries are not increasing. And all this together has affected Nigerians as a whole. And as a result of that, if the quagmire, the feud going on in Rivers State is added into it, it's going to affect the country greatly, because Rivers State is an oil-rich state in which Nigeria has a lot of wells where they dig and they also explore oil, even which is the mainstay of our sole economy. If then the so-called the militants that are supporting, the governor then threatening that he should not be impeached, and now going to bomb the pipeline which is supplying the crude oil that Nigeria is selling in order to survive, and trying to see how he can come out of the problem he has, deep herself in as a result of the decision of the leadership at the beginning of their tenure in May 2023, that's May 29, and somebody come again to distort the whole narrative and spoil the whole thing. Of course, nobody will blame President Bola Ahmed Tinubu from taking such a decision, because it seems as if the Rivers State don't want to go down all alone. They want the whole Nigeria to sink with them. And that is going to be very dangerous. How can you work because of your individual local problems that you drag a whole nation into extinction? Why? And I think that is what resulted into the declaration of that state of emergency, because some of the supporters of Governor Sinai Fubara threatened to bomb the pipeline, and they made true do their promise, because one was bombed and the president had to be proactive and switch into action. And that action today led into, compulsory peace in Rivers State. I hope the peace is not artificial anyway, but for the past 6 months, we've not heard about fighting or infighting in Rivers. All we have been hearing is the fact that there was serious silence and there are more dialoguing now, believing that everybody, yeah, has decided to, you know, everybody has decided to sheath their sword and then allow peace to reign. Even Governor Fubara has already instructed his own supporters to be quiet as for now. Even he is on Wike'S too, because his plan failed as a result of the declaration of the state of emergency. It seems as if it's even a savior for Fubara, because Wike'S wanted to impeach Fubara completely and asked him to be removed. But now Governor President Tinubu is like a savior who has come to rescue, Fubara from the mouth of the lion like Wike'S. And now Fubara can come out with a better wisdom and be able to lead the state even to greater prosperity. So we are waiting for him as people will go hold the, service on Sunday, and then many other countdowns will follow. Keep liking our channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you give us your thumbs up and please share. Thank you.